Welcome to the gardens. We're going to dive right into some oracle cards that I pulled from the Wild Unknown Archetypes. And it's quite an interesting message of really, I'm going to read some from the book just because that all three of these cards that came out came very, very clear. The first card that came is the Underworld. And this is just really going in to unpleasant places, but we build our strength there. I'm going to go ahead. We'll read from the book. Like, just bear with me on this one. And I have some tarot that I pulled for each of the cards. But the Underworld, this is no time to mince words. The archetypical territory of the Underworld is fraught with nightmares, suffering, and pain. It is the darkest shadow realm, which we try vigilantly to avoid and deny at any cost. Try as we might, the darkness pulls us into its depth through disturbing dreams, images, unexpected accidents, illness, war, conflict, and ultimately death. Not visiting the underworld or denying its existence altogether is what gives it dangerous power. Just such a strong, potent thing there. And traversing it forces us to bow humbly to the greater forces that be, while summoning the inner strength we previously underestimated that was within us there, and to take solace that the underworld subsumes everyone from time to time, making us deeper friends, more intimate partners, soldiers of light amid our shadowy times. Facing darkness and choosing light is the most powerful, or is the most profound, but I'm saying powerful calling of all. And it says, so we had that, and I had the card that I pulled for that. Yeah, that sounds pretty doomy, right? I know, nobody wants to go there, but there's just a very big emphasis, and then I'll connect this to some of the messages that I got before the reading started in a minute. And I got the Page of Wands in reverse. And I feel like the reverse on this is really having to, I'm sorry about the glare, really having to go into the underworld with the passion, with the willing to learn how to use your passion in this new environment. You know, it's not in a place of, it's easy to use your skills, your talents, your gifts. You have to relearn how to use them in a new environment. The next card that came out after that, we have the Shapeshifter card. And I'm going to read a little bit of this. I'll try to hold the card up this time when I... Okay. Which direction am I going? Don't worry. Don't worry. We do get to the gem. There's light at the end of the tunnel. For the Shapeshifter, it says, it's the trickster, elusive, and formless. The Shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. The Shapeshifter is within us to all degrees, and to some degree. It is the side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. We need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence, and that's a really important part. You know, dismissing the rules, breaking rules, and so forth isn't necessarily what we're getting here. This Shapeshifter energy is transforming your gifts, talents, and skills in this new environment, adapting to the ever-changing landscape of our existence. When the Shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focused lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagined. Be wary, though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the Shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. That's, again, one of the most important things. To be able to use your gifts and talents and skills in this new environment, you really do have to focus on what is that core, that center pillar, being true to your spirit in there. With that card, I pulled out the Four of Swords, in reverse. This is not a time to rest. This is not a time to wait and be like, okay, maybe the storm will pass. Maybe it'll just get easier in a couple months and I won't have to deal with it and I can just go back to what I was doing the way I was doing it. And this is saying no. Learn to adapt, but also shift in a way that you are still being true to yourself within this new trickster environment. You're not going to be the trickster, but with the ever-changing landscape and the shape-shifting that's going around with you, you're going to have to adapt. But in that adaptation, always being sure that it is a true presentation of your core value, of your spirit, of your higher wisdom, of your higher self. I know that sounds a little strange that you would be shape-shifting along with the shapeshifter or trickster energy. And it can make sense in the idea of, I'm going to use just a really not well planned out metaphor on this one, but here's the thing, like, okay, you need to get a message out and the internet's down. Okay, so you can't get anything on the, or just, you know, the internet in your house is down. So you're like, okay, well, I can use my phone. You're like, crap, I don't have a signal here. So how do you adapt? You have to go, okay, wait, you know, I know that one shop, they usually have Wi-Fi available. Let me see if I can get up there. I'm still going to put this same message out that is of my, you know, for my highest good and the highest good of others. I just gotta, okay, now I gotta go over to this store. So you're adapting, I think, more of where you are in physical location, or the method in which you're able to put those gifts and talents into use, rather than the idea of shape-shifting who you are. You're just kind of re-navigating the landscape as the landscape continuously changes. I'm going to leave that there. We will get to some of the messages that came through because that will tie back into a whole bunch of this stuff. Now, the third card that I pulled before I can turn on the camera and I was like sitting with the cards, is the gem. I will read a little bit, and I did pull, of course, a tarot card for this one too. Okay, and it says there's infinite names for the gem. It's also known as a jewel, the star, the talent, the gift, the gold. One thing for certain is that it is found deep within the substance that is very much unlike it. This is important. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You cannot find it when you are among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop deep beneath the earth, under pressure and darkness and so forth. The gem requires a descent beneath the surface, which is, we got the underworld, okay, and where there is no definitive map, and that's this shape-shifting, the environment ever-changing, and you having to navigate it, okay, with this, which is your gem. Okay, and it says, yet the longing to touch the true gem within us is so strong that we cannot help but seek out its radiance. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. Okay, and there is some of this message is also to say, for those of you who feel like there's an external force that is belittling your gifts, it is to hold on to them and not allow others to say that this is not your gift, to keep that gift and know that it's there. And with this, we also found, I had the strength card come out. And your strength is your gift. But the thing is, you're going to have to go through the underworld. You're going to have to shape-shift, go through this shape-shifting navigation of the world around you. All right, we'll pull out some more cards. I have the Tarot of the She, there was such an important, like, finding your inner light thing. So the deck with this on it just felt like the appropriate one to go through. As for what came through, if you want to just skip to the cards, just go ahead and fast forward if you don't want to hear like some of the channeled stuff that came through, or just weird coincidences that came through. Before I was doing the reading, I went outside and like came in, and I do things like old school in my kitchen. I have a radio with battery in it. It's not even plugged in. And I just like randomly turn it on and just see what's up. And I usually do that before reading in case there's a message that wants to come through the radio. It's like so random. And it was actually the song Invincible by Pat Benatar from this film. Like, I think it came out in the 80s. I'm dating myself here. Like, I'm old. And it's from the movie The Legend of Billie Jean. Now, some of the words is like, you know, we can't afford to be innocent, stand up and face the enemy. And it was like, it's not that we can't afford to be innocent. It's that they're not allowing us to be innocent, you know. And anytime, you know, like I talk about like, you know, speaking up and taking action and stuff, I'm always talking about doing that in a peaceful way through the love of the heart and in a way that does not harm, but actually raises up people. That not just the people that you're trying to protect and defend, but also it, like, allows space for those that are against to lift themselves up also into a higher understanding and in a more compassionate, loving way. But what I really got with The Legend of the Billie Jean in the movie is there were basic premise of the plot. Girl gets attacked. Brother does something stupid. The shop owner who attacked basically says they came in and robbed him and did some stuff. So there's like a manhunt for this girl and her brother, and it actually all happened because he tried to assault her. And it's just a whole movie about that. Came out, I believe, before Thelma and Louise, for anybody who's old enough to know that. This one like kicks butt on Thelma and Louise. But it's like, you see them traverse like the country in the United States, and all of these people supporting them and kind of sheltering them and giving them housing and making sure they have food and transportation, because they're going to get arrested for a crime that they never committed, because one guy said that they did this crime. And all what I'm getting from that is like, we become the people who say this person is the victim, not the criminal, and extend our generosity to it. There's something up there in that. And there was like another song that came on after that, and it's a cheesy 80s song that it's like, if you listen to it, sorry to even make you listen. You might just Google the lyrics or something on that. But the first one was Invincible by Pat Benatar. I don't know who did this song. I know it's an old 80s song that annoyed me even in the 80s. But it says, you don't know where you're going. They don't know where you've been. You belong to the city. Concrete jungle under your feet amidst the neon lights. And it just sort of really fit with, there's a sense of your gem and the underworld is needed. There's other people in the underworld that their gem is not being allowed at all. And it's been suppressed. So part of that is for you to help others find their gem and to protect others' gems. Of course, in a way that is always with love and kindness. You know, that's the way I am. But significantly first is to ensure that you don't let that shape-shifting energy shape-shift your perception of yourself and you lose sight of the gem and just get stuck in the chaos of the underworld where you're lost. All right, so that's that. We'll move on to the cards for anybody who actually stuck around for those messages and didn't just fast forward till we get to the cards. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take some tarot cards from the tarot. The tarot of the she. I like this because I do like working with the fairies. And she is, I believe, an Irish word for fairy. So we're just going to see, for the highest good of all, what messages need to come through. Additional information, not as predictions, but as helpful guidance cards. Clearing out confusions. Clearing out confusions. We got that right there. Okay. Anything else on the clearing out confusions do we need here? Let's see. This one right here wants to come for the clearing out of confusions. I feel like we're supposed to look at the bottom of the deck. We do have Death as the transformation card, clearing out confusions. So some of our old ways of doing things, we need to just transform them. I think we touched on that already. I'm going to start with the clearing out confusions. The first card that came out was the Elder. And then the second card that came out is the Dreamer 3, which is the 3 of Swords, and the soul loss is the saying on that card. Clearing out the confusions. If you're wondering what the pain is in you or the environment around you, it is because someone has kind of taken away the soul of something. Okay? And while it may not be easy to make sense of things, it is important to remember that you do not need to let other people take your soul. That sounds so weird. I can't believe you don't need to let other people take your soul. Wow, those are some strange words to come out of my mouth. You have a sovereign soul. No matter where you are in the world, you have a sovereign soul. Souls in their spirit do not abide by any kind of citizenship, any kind of placement on the earth. I'm choking on this like it's like, yep, something's like trying to shut me up here or something. Let me get some water. Okay. Yeah, just take a good look at those cards while I like get some water on my throat so I can talk. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I don't know why this just came out for clearing out confusion, but for some of you, you may be wondering why an environment you're in just doesn't seem the same. And it's almost like, like new person in charge of the company came in and it really cut out the soul. And there is a, like, I'm going to use the wording this way. I don't really see this as being the appropriate word, but like a collective soul that everyone agreed upon. And we were all giving something positive to. And that's been broken. So that these gifts are not being able to come together in a unified way and working as one to create a greater whole, a greater energy in the environment that is conducive and connected to all of those within that environment. If that makes sense. So that if you're feeling like really out of place all of a sudden somewhere, and you're wondering if it came from you doing something wrong, did you separate yourself out? And this is an external, like something else in charge coming in and separating things out. I mean, there may be a few of you where you have been separated out by, by spirit for a good reason, because it was an unhealthy environment for you to be in. And that is the case for some of you. And for some of you, these situations, both of them are happening, and one's one way and one's the other way. So that's take what resonates, leave the rest, right? All right, we're moving on. It's like, okay. These were, what did we ask Spirit on this one? We asked just information to help others, to, you know, just guidance cards for helping you make decisions. They are not outcomes, but we did have Warrior 6, which is the Six of Wands. And the saying on this card is, no foe too great. I'm not even going to comment on that. I think it's self-explanatory. There you go. But you want to just, it is no foe too great. And I'm really drawn to, yeah, there's this one person up there that thinks they're as big as the sun in the sky. And then there's these people here. And what are these people doing? I'm sorry to pause this so long. Okay, that's just the people. I am noticing somebody has a bow but no arrow. And it's almost like their arm connects down to their heart in place of the arrow on that bow. And I think that's very important. Yeah, there's some interesting things. I don't know if anybody takes anything from that. Always, you know, in kindness, peace, and love. Another one is Dancer 2, which is the Two of Cups. And this is the Soulmates card. And I'm looking at this like, even if you're different, you know, two people can find common ground. No matter the differences, there is a way for people to find common ground. And for some of you, you need to find other people that you already have a common ground. Like, you don't have to work to create that bridge to connect. And that may be helpful. Okay, and then we have the Warrior of Fire, which is I can't talk. I'm done being able to talk. The Warrior Fire is the Ace of Pentacles. This is quite the interestingly obnoxious card. This seems quite volcanic, right? The interesting thing, though, is like it actually came out in reverse. And it really just seems to make more sense. This is going into the underworld, where it's almost, yeah. I don't know how to explain that one. I'm not even going to try. Every now and then you'll find in my readings that I'm just going to hold a card up for you, and it's up to you. It's up to you, because your intuition and your insight is what matters most. So that's, okay, we're moving on. You're like, what the heck is she reading cards for? She's just going to hold them up. Hold on a second. We're going to figure out, where do we want to go from here? Hold on. All right, that took a minute to go figure out a deck, but I'm actually using a deck that I don't normally use, and I felt like we needed to go look in other places for that gem, for the gem of, you know, how to use that gem, where the use for that gem would be crystals for some of you, spending some extra time in your practice to reconnect and do some clearing of energies within. That may give you some clarity. What other? This deck does not want to give any answers. That's so weird. It's not. Okay, so we're going to go to a different deck then, which I only got because I liked how the pictures were. So we're going to see. This may be a tough one. Okay, so what do we have? We do have Beyond the Mind. And this is really tapping into you know, that your crown chakra actually on this one. And it's coming across as, you know, not just what's in the mind, like some of the information floating around isn't where you're going to get the facts. Some of it's just going to come intuitively, and you'll understand by just deducing the most logical and practical thing. What else do we have? Okay, this card does want to come out. All right. I think this is the final message for it. What do? Just shine your light. If you're not sure what your thing is that you can do, it's that simple. Be loving, be kind, be good to other people. If they want to get angry and judgmental and stuff, say a kind word and walk away. If that's how they're going to be. But if you're not sure what to do, start here. Just start being kind to the people around you. That's the beginning of it. And then grow from there. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for sticking around, and hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow.